Today, I'm going to talk about the benefits of dietary supplementation of a novel multi-component protease on broiler chicken performance and nutrient digestibility. Majority of commercially available protease products can be characterized as a single component preparation, which means it is a specific enzyme that originated from a single source. When supplemented alone, single component protease improved protein and amino acid digestibility, enhanced animal production performance, and compensated the losses of endogenous proteases activity due to presence of trypsin inhibitors and other anti-nutritional factors. However, the benefits of single component proteases are frequently masked in protein sufficient diets or by co-occurrence of other dietary enzymes supplementation. Studies also identified that effectiveness of single component proteases are also affected by other factors such as source, dosage of the enzyme, dietary formulations, as well as nutritional density. So, questions are still remaining. How can we overcome those aforementioned challenges or limitations of a single component protease? We think adapting multi-component enzyme concept is can be an effective approach. Multi-component enzyme is a specific combination of multiple enzymes that originated from various sources. This concept is currently used in non-starch polysaccharides and have demonstrated multiple advantages over the single component counterparts, such as introduce greater and more consistent growth promotion effects and the ability to be used in a diet that containing a wide range of ingredients. We conducted two experiments to evaluate the effects of dietary supplementation of a new multi-component proteases on broiler chicken growth performance and apparent total tract nutrient digestibility. In our first experiment, 600 newly hatched Cobb 500 male chicks were randomly assigned into six treatments with 10 pens per treatment and 10 birds per pen. In this study, birds were given starter, grower, and finisher diet during 0 to 10, 11 to 21, and 22 to 28 days respectively. Experimental treatments are standard protein control diet, which were formulated to match nutrient requirements according to the breeder guideline. Low protein control diet, which were formulated to contain half percent less cool protein by weight, or around 5% less in digestible amino acids. Then low protein diet with two dosage of multi-component protease supplementation. We also used two commercially available single component proteases as benchmarks. All the experimental diets were formulated to contain a commercially available phytase product. In this study, we used the growth performance and the total tract digestibility of crude protein and growth energy as an experimental endpoint. Then let's take a more detailed look at the experimental diet. Both standard protein and low protein diets were corn, wheat, and soybean meal based. The analyzed nutrient compositions of each diet were listed in this table. Then these tables more detailed demonstrated the calculated and analyzed nutrient compositions of cool protein and amino acid of each of both standard and low protein diet. In first experiment, we did not observe the treatment effects on broiler chicken average daily gain and average daily feed intake. This is consistent with literature, which indicated that both ADG and ADFI are not the most sensitive experimental endpoints when evaluating the effects of protease supplementations in broiler chicken. On the other side, we observe the treatment effects on broiler chicken feed conversion ratio during 11 to 21 day or the grower stage. There is a tendency towards significance was observed. During the finisher stage, 22 to 28 day, low protein control diet fat bird had a significantly higher feed conversion ratio, while with the multi-component protease supplementation at 250 mg per kg levels, we are able to restore this parameter into the same level as a standard protein control diet fat bird. Then look at the overall 28 days feeding study. We found that low protein control diet fat bird had a significantly higher feed conversion ratio compared with the standard protein control diet fat birds. While we are able to restore this parameter into the same level by supplementing birds with 250 mg per kg multi-component proteases in the diet. Then, if we look into the more detailed about nutrient digestibility, we also observed significant improvements in both cool protein and growth energy digestibility in 250 mg per kg multi-component proteases supplemented bird. So taken together, this study demonstrated that multi-component protease supplementation is able to improve total tract digestibility of cool protein and growth energy. And these improvements in nutrient digestibilities are most likely contributed to the improvement in feed conversion ratio. Last but not Last but not least, we also observed a numerical improvement in body weight by supplementing multi-component proteases in low-protein diet. After demonstrated that multi-component protease is effective in low-protein diet, we conducted our second experiment to evaluate the effects of these new enzyme products in protein-sufficient diet. In our second study, 400-day-old Cobb 500 male chicks were randomly assigned into four treatments. Four treatments are standard protein control diet, which were formulated to meet birds' nutrient requirements, high protein control diet, which were formulated to contain 0.6 to 0.8% more cool protein than the standard protein control diet, and the standard protein diet with two levels of multi-component protease supplementation. Similar to previous study, all experimental diets were formulated to contain a commercially available phytase product. In this case, we raised the birds all the way to 35 days, and we measured their growth performance as an experimental endpoint. This table further demonstrated the diet formulation for both high protein diet and standard protein diet. Experimental diets were corn and soybean meal based, with feta meals and copper meals were used as an additional protein source. In agreement with our first experiment, in our second study, we did not see a treatment effect on birds' ADG and ADFI. Then, in terms of the other parameters of growth performance, we found that high protein control diet fat bird had a significantly lower feed conversion ratio compared with the standard protein control birds, while with the multi-component protease supplementation, we are able to gradually reduce the feed conversion ratio. The most pronounced improvement was observed in the birds fed 250 mg per kg multi-component protease supplemented diet. So taken together, our second experiment demonstrated that multi-component protease remained still able to improve broiler chicken feed efficiency when birds were fed protein-sufficient diet. This is an important contrast to previous studies and literature, which suggests that protein supplementations tend to lose its efficacy when diets contain sufficient level of protein. Also, the differences in feed conversion ratio observed among the treatments in study number 2 suggest that modern broiler chickens might have higher protein or amino acid requirements than the previously estimated. and supplementing multi-component protease can be used as an effective means to meet birds' ever-increasing nutrient requirements. So, taken together, combined with our findings for two experiments, we find that multi-component protease can be used as an effective means to improve feed efficiency when broiler chicken fed both low protein and sufficient protein diet. The improvements in FCR is likely due to increase in nutrient digestibility. We also demonstrated that multi-component proteases have a protein-sparing effect, which is enhanced nutrient availability by targeting previously undigested protein and thus improve animal performance as well as the profitabilities. Last but not least, uh, we demonstrated that multi-component protease can be used in conjunction with phytase. This is also an important contrast to previous study, which suggests that supplementations of phytase may mask the efficacy of exogenous protease. Thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach me. My email address can be found on my bio.